My name is Andrew Walker, and my story takes place in Portland, Oregon, where I grew up in a quiet suburban neighborhood. My parents were high school teachers, and I followed in their footsteps by pursuing a career in education. After graduating from the University of Oregon with a degree in English, I became a high school English teacher in a nearby town. Teaching was more than just a job for me. It was a passion, and I loved inspiring young minds with the beauty of literature. I met Jessica Moore at a local coffee shop on a rainy afternoon. She was a freelance graphic designer who had recently moved to Portland from Seattle. Jessica was sitting alone, sketching in a notebook, and I couldn't help but notice the intricate details of her drawings. Mustering up the courage, I approached her and struck up a conversation. We talked about our favorite books, art, and our love for the Pacific Northwest. That conversation was the beginning of our journey together. Jessica and I quickly became inseparable. Our shared interests and mutual respect for each other's work made our bond strong. We spent weekends exploring Portland's vibrant art scene, hiking in Forest Park, and enjoying quiet nights at home with a good book. Jessica's creativity complemented my love for literature, and we often found ourselves discussing new projects and ideas late into the night. After a year of dating, we moved in together. Our apartment in the Pearl District was small but cozy, filled with books and art supplies. We often hosted dinner parties for our friends, who admired our close relationship and mutual support. It wasn't long before I proposed, and we got married in a small ceremony at a vineyard in the Willamette Valley. Life seemed perfect, and we were excited about our future together. The first few years of our marriage were blissful. Jessica's career as a graphic designer took off, and she started working with high-profile clients, which sometimes required her to travel. I was proud of her success, and I continued to find joy in teaching. However, as time went on, I began to notice small changes in her behavior. Jessica became more secretive about her phone and started staying late at her studio. I tried to ignore my growing suspicions, telling myself that her career demands were the cause. But when she began taking frequent trips to Los Angeles, ostensibly for work, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. She would often return home distracted and distant, and our once vibrant conversations became strained. My suspicions grew to the point where I could no longer ignore them. One evening, while Jessica was away on another trip, I decided to look through our phone records. What I found was alarming. There were numerous calls and text messages to a number I didn't recognize, often late at night. The messages were frequent and intimate, indicating a relationship far beyond professional. Desperate for answers, I hired a private investigator to follow Jessica on her next trip to Los Angeles. The wait for his report was excruciating, filled with sleepless nights and constant anxiety. When the investigator finally contacted me, my worst fears were confirmed. Jessica had been meeting with a man named Mark Evans, a marketing executive she had met through one of her clients. I confronted Jessica the night she returned from Los Angeles. Armed with the evidence, I demanded an explanation. At first, she tried to deny everything, but as I presented the photos and phone records, her facade crumbled. Dear viewers, more than 90% watch my content without subscribing. If you still have not subscribed, then I ask you to do so. For me, this is the best motivation to continue. She admitted to the affair, explaining that it had started as a professional relationship but quickly became more personal. Her confession hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt a mixture of anger, betrayal, and profound sadness. Jessica apologized repeatedly, claiming she still loved me and wanted to work things out. But the trust between us was shattered, and I couldn't see a way to rebuild it. We agreed to separate temporarily while we figured out our next steps, and Jessica moved out to stay with a friend. In the weeks following our separation, I focused on my work and sought support from friends and family. My best friend, Tom, was a rock during this time, offering advice and a shoulder to lean on. He suggested I see a therapist to help process my emotions and make sense of what had happened. Reluctantly, I made an appointment with Dr. Rachel Brooks, a therapist who specialized in relationship issues. Dr. Brooks helped me navigate the complex emotions I was experiencing. Through our sessions, I began to understand the underlying issues in my marriage and the reasons behind Jessica's infidelity. It was a painful process, but it provided clarity and a sense of direction. I realized that I needed to prioritize my own well-being and make decisions that were best for my future. After months of counseling and soul-searching, I came to the conclusion that our marriage couldn't be saved. Jessica and I met to discuss our options, and we both agreed that divorce was the best course of action. The legal process was difficult and emotionally draining, but we managed to keep things amicable for the most part, dividing our assets and deciding who would get what was a painful reminder of the life we had built together. I moved out of our apartment and into a small house in a quieter part of town. Jessica found her own place, and we began the process of untangling our lives from each other. The final court date was bittersweet, marking the end of our marriage and the beginning of a new chapter for both of us. In the aftermath of the divorce, I continued to see Dr. Brooks, who helped me cope with the feelings of loss and betrayal. She encouraged me to focus on self-care and to take time to heal before jumping into a new relationship. I also joined a support group for people who had gone through infidelity and divorce. Sharing my story and hearing others' experiences was incredibly therapeutic. Through these sessions, I realized that I wasn't alone in my pain. Many others had gone through similar experiences and had come out stronger on the other side. The support group became a source of strength and encouragement, helping me to rebuild my confidence and regain a sense of normalcy. Life after divorce was challenging, but I was determined to move forward. I threw myself into my work, taking on additional responsibilities and even coaching the school's debate team. The extra work helped distract me from the pain and gave me a sense of purpose. I also rekindled old friendships and made an effort to reconnect with my hobbies, such as hiking and writing. After about a year, I felt ready to start dating again. My first few dates were awkward and filled with the baggage of my past, but eventually I met someone new, Anna, a social worker with a warm and compassionate heart. We took things slow, building a relationship based on trust and mutual respect. It wasn't easy, but it felt good to open my heart again and to see the possibility of a happy future. Reflecting on my journey, I realized that Jessica's infidelity had been a turning point in my life. It forced me to confront my vulnerabilities and reassess my priorities. Dear viewers, I ask you to subscribe to the channel under this video. I will be very grateful to you. While the experience was incredibly painful, it also led to personal growth and a deeper understanding of myself. I learned to value my own happiness and to seek relationships built on honesty and trust. As I sit in my new home with Anna by my side, I feel a sense of peace that I hadn't thought possible. The scars of the past remain, but they no longer define me. I've learned to forgive, to let go, and to embrace the possibilities of the future. Jessica's betrayal was a chapter in my life, but it was not the end of my story. Life goes on, and I'm ready to face whatever comes next with resilience and hope. In the months following the divorce, I made a conscious effort to rebuild connections with old friends and family. My brother Eric, who lived in San Francisco, invited me to visit him for a few weeks. It was a welcome escape from the memories of Portland, and the change of scenery did wonders for my spirit. We spent time hiking in the Redwood National Park, exploring the city, and reminiscing about our childhood. During my visit, Eric and I had many heart-to-heart conversations about life, love, and moving forward. His support and perspective helped me see things in a new light. He encouraged me to focus on my passions and to seek joy in everyday moments. This advice resonated with me, and I returned to Portland feeling more grounded and hopeful. Back in Portland, I decided to take up new hobbies to fill my time and distract myself from the lingering sadness. I enrolled in a cooking class, something I'd always wanted to do but never found the time for. Cooking became a form of therapy, allowing me to create and enjoy delicious meals while meeting new people. I also joined a local book club, where I found solace in discussing literature with like-minded individuals. The club meetings became a highlight of my week, providing intellectual stimulation and a sense of community. Through these activities, I slowly began to rebuild my life and find joy in new experiences. Living alone for the first time in years was a significant adjustment. At first, the silence was deafening, and the emptiness of the house was a constant reminder of my failed marriage. However, over time, I learned to embrace solitude. I started journaling, capturing my thoughts and feelings on paper, which helped me process my emotions. Solitude also gave me the opportunity to reflect on my life and set new goals for the future. I focused on self-improvement, both physically and mentally. I started exercising regularly, which not only improved my physical health but also boosted my mood and confidence. Meditation and mindfulness practices became part of my daily routine, helping me stay centered and calm. As I found stability in my personal life, I began to focus more on my career. an opportunity arose for a leadership position at the high school where I taught. The position of department head for the English faculty became available, and my colleagues encouraged me to apply. With some hesitation, I threw my hat into the ring. The interview process was intense, but I felt prepared and confident. When I was offered the position, it was a moment of validation and pride. The new role came with more responsibilities, but it also provided me with a platform to implement positive changes within the department. I was excited about the prospect of shaping the curriculum and mentoring younger teachers. With the new position came new challenges. Balancing administrative duties with teaching required careful time management and a lot of late nights. However, the support of my colleagues and the enthusiasm of my students made it all worthwhile. I found immense satisfaction in my work and took pride in the progress we made as a department. During this time, I also continued my relationship with Anna. She was understanding of my busy schedule and provided unwavering support. Our relationship grew stronger as we navigated the ups and downs together. We enjoyed simple pleasures like weekend getaways to the coast and quiet evenings at home. For the first time in a long while, I felt truly content. Despite the progress I made, there were moments when the past crept back into my thoughts. Occasionally, I would run into mutual friends who would mention Jessica, bringing back memories of our time together. It was difficult to hear about her life moving on, but it also reinforced my decision to close that chapter of my life. One day I received a letter from Jessica. She had moved to Los Angeles permanently and wanted to apologize for the pain she had caused. Reading her words stirred up a mix of emotions. While it was painful to revisit those memories, it also provided a sense of closure. I wrote back, expressing my forgiveness and wishing her well. It was a cathartic experience, allowing me to fully let go of the past. With the past behind me, I focused on building a future with Anna. We talked about our dreams and aspirations, and it became clear that we shared a vision for our lives. We decided to buy a house together, a place where we could create new memories and build a life as a couple. House hunting was an exciting adventure, and we eventually found a charming home in a quiet neighborhood. Moving in together was a significant step, but it felt right. We spent weekends decorating, gardening, and making the house our own. Our home became a sanctuary, a place of love and peace. We hosted gatherings for friends and family, filling the house with laughter and joy. It was a new beginning, one that was built on trust and mutual respect. With stability in my personal life, I found myself rediscovering old passions. I began writing again, something I had put aside during the tumultuous years of my marriage and divorce. I started working on a novel, pouring my experiences and emotions into the story. Writing became a form of expression and healing, allowing me to explore my thoughts and feelings in a creative way. I also began volunteering at a local community center, teaching creative writing to at-risk youth. It was fulfilling to share my love for literature with young minds and to see their enthusiasm and growth. Volunteering gave me a sense of purpose and reminded me of the impact I could make outside of the classroom. Throughout this journey, the relationships with my family and friends became stronger. My parents, who had always been supportive, were thrilled to see me happy again. They visited often, and we enjoyed spending time together, whether it was hiking in the Columbia River Gorge or simply having dinner at home. My friendships also deepened. Tom, who had been there through the darkest times, remained a close confidant. We often went on fishing trips, a tradition from our college days, where we would talk about life and enjoy the tranquility of nature. These connections were a vital part of my healing process and helped me stay grounded. As the years passed, I learned to embrace the present and appreciate the journey that had brought me here. The pain of the past no longer held power over me. Instead, it had become a part of my story, one that had shaped me into the person I was today. I felt a sense of gratitude for the lessons learned and the growth achieved. Anna and I continued to build our life together, always finding new adventures and challenges to tackle. Our relationship was a source of strength and joy, and we supported each other through thick and thin. We talked about starting a family someday, excited about the future possibilities. Milestones became a way to celebrate our journey and the progress we had made. Our first anniversary in our new home was a special occasion, marked by a small gathering of close friends and family. It was a reminder of how far we had come and the love that had grown between us. At work, I celebrated the successes of my students and the achievements of the English department. We implemented new programs that fostered creativity and critical thinking, and I was proud of the positive impact we were making. These milestones were a testament to the hard work and dedication of everyone involved. Life continued to present new challenges, but I felt better equipped to handle them. When budget cuts threatened the school's extracurricular programs, I worked with colleagues and community members to find alternative funding. It was a difficult battle, but the support from parents and students was overwhelming. We managed to save the programs, ensuring that students could continue to pursue their passions. In my personal life, Anna faced challenges at work that tested her resilience. As a social worker, she dealt with heartbreaking situations, and there were times when the emotional toll was overwhelming. We leaned on each other for support, finding strength in our partnership. Our shared commitment to making a difference in the world was a constant source of motivation. Finding balance between work, personal life, and self-care became an ongoing journey. I learned to set boundaries and prioritize what was truly important. Weekends were reserved for relaxation and spending quality time with Anna. We discovered a love for cooking together, experimenting with new recipes and hosting dinner parties for friends. Traveling also became a way for us to unwind and explore new places. We took trips to national parks, visited family in different states, and even traveled abroad. Each trip was an opportunity to create lasting memories and deepen our bond. Looking back on my journey, I saw a path marked by challenges, growth, and resilience. Jessica's infidelity and the subsequent divorce had been devastating, but they had also been a catalyst for profound personal transformation. I had learned to value my own happiness, to build relationships based on trust, and to find joy in the present. The lessons I had learned along the way shaped my approach to life. I became more empathetic, understanding that everyone has their own struggles and battles. This empathy extended to my students, friends, and family, enriching my connections with them. As I continue on this journey, I remain open to new beginnings and the endless possibilities that life offers. My relationship with Anna continues to flourish, built on a foundation of love, trust, and mutual respect. We dream of future adventures, perhaps starting a family, and continuing to make a positive impact in our respective fields. The story of my life is not defined by the betrayal I experienced, but by the strength and resilience I found within myself. It is a story of healing, growth, and the unwavering belief that no matter what challenges arise, I have the power to overcome them and build a fulfilling, joyful life.